Diplomats, the penultimate episode, but the actual ultimate episode of interviewing our season 6 finalists. We have with us MaxVax, also known as Sergey, also known as Mad Max.
All right.
Season 3 or 4 in season 6 finalists. What was your other finals?
4.
4 and 6. Second place. Looked like you were going to win season 4 until Pez came in. And now you're in season 6. And your nemesis Pez is right there, right next to you. You got to pick 5th.
Yes.
You picked Italy. You picked Italy, seeing the entire West gone, so you knew Philip would be in France. You knew where Ewok would be. You had a choice between Italy, Turkey, and Austria. So why'd you pick Italy?
Well, Italy gives many options. Plus, I'm terrible at playing Italy, so I kind of took it in hopes to at least learn to be better playing it. And like I said, options were, more numerous. Like my hope was really to pick ally between Pez and Ewok and eliminate Tangian quickly. It obviously didn't work out super well, but that was my initial plan.
It didn't work out, yeah. Well, one person did get eliminated, but not Tangian.
Yeah.
I've asked every player this, the effect of Tangian's pregame comments, basically telegraphing that he wanted a juggernaut with Ewok and how that affected your thinking.
Let me step back. I first want to thank you for doing this nice episodes. And, even I was criticized. I still appreciated how you guys did this. I think you had a lot of good comments and fun. I also congratulate every finalist who played. I think we had a pretty strong group here. Everybody, mostly everybody at least really wanted to win, had all kinds of drama going on. I congratulate Ewok for that win. I hope he's happy and maybe he'll make a trophy of his head and put it in his cupboard and be happy. I can comment later on my opinion about him as a player, not as a person. He's a wonderful person and terrible player. By terrible, I don't mean that he's incapable of winning, but his style, I don't agree with. So then as far as your question, I think Tangian, and he admitted that, did terrible mistakes stating such things like, oh my gosh, I'm going to ally with Ewok, that's my plan. Considering how he dragged him into the final, which is by no means not allowed, that's fine. That's sort of
dragged him over me. He dragged him over me.
That's right. One thing when you choose, let's say, when you choose to help someone, when you don't benefit yourself, all you can do is pick someone and help him have fun. Opposite thing is when you're going to drag someone into the final, and Tangian himself told me that he hoped / expected that Ewok will help him win. Which he said towards the end. My goal towards the end was to create a, sort of situation where both of them won't like each other because, they each other stab, each one stabbed the other at least once or twice in this game. Unfortunately for me, that whole drama reminded me of they were like a family, they may grumble, bickering, but they still preferred each other towards the very end. And I think Tangian, did a mistake of not crowning, let's say, Riaz, which was easy option for him to tap Berlin. But that's my opinion, that's fine. So again, I think the game was really fun. I am happy with my performance. I will state this, I'm again one move away from the win. In this case, in season 4, it was my own move, which I could have done in 1. This time it was simple, not ridiculous move, Burgundy, Albania, but just support me in Marseille and I would win. But, I get it. Philip had his reasons and I obviously failed to have a great ally in this game. So I'm happy with my performance from where I was in the mid game. And I leave it at that. So what are your other questions?
I don't know. I was just going back to my question. You had some things you wanted to get out. Yeah, I figured it was just best to let you get it out. Yep. Okay. Just talk to me about the predicament you felt in as Italy, right? Which is not a great offensive power early. But it is not a bad defensive power early. You have to work with Pez, given what Tangian has said. Tell me, Pez basically said, he regrets never being able to that you couldn't fully trust each other for whatever reason. It just didn't work out, and that was the mistake of the game from his standpoint.
Yeah, well, I agree. So he had, like you said, he is my arch enemy or whatever. No, I think Pez is a great player. I mean, I had no negativity towards Pez before or even after this game. The point was we had to ally at least until RT is resolved. I was under impression that we have to stay together. So he suggested all kind of funny openings as he always does. I rejected. Similarly, he rejected my idea of me taking 3S, which I also respected. So that boss was fine. And basically it came down to he had to give me Greece because Ewok and I organized. So Ewok leaked the move, the one Tangent was putting fleets and not defending Bulgaria. So once Bulgaria was taken by Pez, I expected to get Greece. And I think you guys, I'll maybe jump ahead, but you guys said, why did I not move to Greece and I instead moved to Aegean right here? And I think Audacious said, oh, why? What's a mistake? Well, there were many reasons. So briefly, I wanted to test Pez. Yeah, if I were in Greece now, I could have taken it and sure, but I wanted to test him and he clearly failed the test. So everybody said, he's controlling me, that he's the master. No, there was no master. We were supposed to be just two allies and he failed to ally with me right here. And yeah, since then, he was dead for me. Like, since he did not give me Greece, he was dead. I could have failed. Like, he went back and allowed me to keep Venice, whatever. But my goal was to...
Sergey, hold on. Chill out. He took Bulgaria. Why couldn't you have just taken Greece? Because he just said, no, you're not allowed?
No. He promised me Greece in the fall, yeah. But then he stabbed me and bounced me out of it, right? And then he occupied Tyrolia.
Right here is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
Right here. I was supposed to get it. Like, I was supposed to get Greece this move. Why I didn't go in the spring? Like, two reasons. One is I already arranged something with Stangian, which, I kind of waste a move, but it forces him to support if he wants to take Aegean. So we already agreed on that. I didn't want to sort of violate some whatever agreements we had. And secondly, I wanted to test Pez because I did not expect him stabbing with Ewok and Tangent so close together. That was his ridiculous decision. I just didn't expect from such experienced players such a pity stab of one center. And so that basically killed our AI on the spot.
Why, did you talk to Pez? Why did he tell you he did this?
Oh, he said, oh, he would be boxed out, didn't feel something, whatever weird explanation. Like he tried to, in his credit, he tried to go back and, I don't want to jump ahead if you had some questions, but
No, I have questions about this year.
Okay, fine. So he basically said something about he felt he'll be boxed out without progress, which is funny because at 6, Wien was at 7 centers. So having an 0-2 6 centers by no means boxing. And I had 4. So I didn't understand at all, didn't buy that sort of response. So it did not satisfy me at all.
It would have put you 5-5. That's a good partnership.
Yeah, well, I know. And again, given Ewok and Tangent sort of story, whatever you call it, we had to control it. Yes, Ewok stopped Ankara, but as you know, understand later, Tangent by no means was dead. And so we had to sort of eliminate him then, right here. Me having Greece, 5-5. I would have stayed with Pez here and watched until Tangent was dead. I would have stayed with Pez here.
So, I mean, this is really sort of remarkable that I think if people just watch your interview, they don't understand. But France and England say you sort of coordinated every move happening here in the West this year, particularly you did something with Germany, according to England, which allowed Marseille to bounce and for him to stay in Marseille so there'd be no fleet build there. Is that true?
I wouldn't say I coordinated that. If they give me so much credit, I appreciate it, but I was privy to some knowledge. Like I knew that I knew these moves. I also knew that, later on, basically, when the stab happened, I also knew all that, and I, of course, encouraged that from Riaz. But I wouldn't say as far as me coordinating. What power do I have? I certainly arranged that at some level, but not to the level of like, me driving that. So I would not agree with that sort of ultimate statement.
So explain to me, I mean, you benefited from Philip at many levels in the game. Just talk to me about that relationship a bit. Maybe not tactically, but just personally.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think,
yeah.
sure thing. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. So Philip, he's very like personable guy. He sends like, pictures from the bar, things like that, which, very kind of open, cool guy, like car salesman, you described, and audacious and superstition, like that, car kind of used car salesman. Yeah, I totally agree. I kind of like that analogy. It's unfortunately comes with second sort of negative side of car salesman, who you think about try to cheat you all the time, right? And Philip also does have that angle, unfortunately, and so that sort of poisoned, for the lack of a better word, our relationships a little bit. He was a bit naive in some things, and I didn't realize it early, and it was detrimental. He still thinks, he told me like at the end of the game, that me not wanting him in Spain South Coast was my terrible mistake. He really didn't think to act against me, and that's fine. Maybe he didn't have plans, but no Italy would love Spain South Coast fleet and open Marseille for the second. Like, I just don't understand what he meant. Like, of course I knew the EF is strong. Of course I knew that he will attack me, and I had to sort of put some checks and balances in place. That bounce here is one example, right? Investment. Like, I had to do something for him to not attack me. And with past stabbing, I was literally on the verge of death there. And later on, we normalized relations, but I think I failed to connect with him because I didn't realize his, for the lack of a better word, naiveness in thinking, oh yeah, I'll just say I go to Spain South Coast, it's fantastic for Italy. Sorry, I don't understand how it's fantastic for Italy. And I still fail to see that, That was sort of where I could have done a better job to placate him a little bit, maybe even allow that if I saw he's the kind of person, maybe say, yeah, great idea, go to South Coast, woohoo, I need to think about it more, but he clearly, well, if you want my opinion of like that, let's talk about it later when the stop comes
Yeah,
from
yeah,
there.
yeah. But okay, so look, I think this is your best or one of your best bits of diplomacy in this game. I mean, Venice is lost, and yet,
Yeah, it's yes, those are good. I actually love those drawings, but yeah.
yeah,
So
I mean, yeah,
I think I
you have the great little, ostrich. Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, you got him
so
to move away.
and then to give Pes some credit, he here, as far as I recall, me, Tangian, and Pes talk a lot and organize. He wanted me to move west because EF was growing, and Tangian and I basically just arranged this kind of moves. Well, he supported me to Greece, and he basically tapped Bulgaria here, except he actually wanted to get it. Well, like with some chances here. So Pes kind of said later that he doesn't blame me for that. But to be honest, I couldn't see past forward because someone who is so short-sighted and denying Greece, the main ally of the game, even he doesn't. Let's say he didn't like how MaxVax plays. He had to stay allied with me early on. He failed to see it, and so I didn't feel comfortable giving him second chances here. Maybe it was a mistake in retrospect how it turned out, but I still stand by my decision, right? I was one move away from win, so I feel like, yeah, not sort of trust in Pez again was right.
Okay, I'm asking you this question for just because I'm curious. My view of diplomacy, right, is that it's the better you do is understanding how to advance mutual interests. So when you were talking about Philip before, saying, you know, I understand he's in an EF, and I saw the danger to me. He wanted to move to South Coast, and that's really anti-Italy. His position was, okay, look, I want to stab England. I don't have the opportunity to do it now. England's going to stay close to me and not commit while I have my fleets in this position. So I'm trying to show a little movement for England. And he said he became frustrated that your negotiation style was it had to be your way. How do you respond to that, and what do you think of that? I mean,
Right.
couldn't there have been a middle ground that was found?
That's fair. That's fair. And I respond like this. In this uh, first years of the game, Pez was copying all kind of messages, and he sent me, when it was still allowed, a screenshot where it was EFRA alliance, right? So England, France,
France and
Austria.
Austria.
Yeah, and then France said there basically, I'm new player, blah blah blah. I'll be happy with 10 centers, including Rome, Tunis, Naples, Austria get Venice, I'll get Munich, and I'll be at 10. Let's do this, guys, blah blah blah. And it was like copied. So forgive me for not trusting much that
That's
Spain
a fair
is
point, Max.
you know, Spain sees anti-England, I'll attack him soon. He kept spitting it out there. I could have trusted him, but you know, the last drop was really this message, which he actually not acknowledged. He said, "Oh no, I didn't send it first." I said, "Look, I got screenshot." "Oh yeah, oh then yeah, I said it, but blah blah blah." You know, you have to sometimes own it. I totally get it. Everybody talks, and in fact, I think I was accused for talking too much, which I still don't get with some players a little bit, because everybody is talking. But you know, this kind of message of a split agreement never made me comfortable that he even thought about attacking England. Yes, he might have considered it, like sure, 5% chance, but no, I had to protect myself. And if he really was saying it, he was lying to himself. Like, that's fine. Like, he's naive, very young player. He can improve on that. So
Max, you've had sustained success in press tournaments.
More or less okay. I wouldn't say success. I did not make final last season 5.
Okay, you're being modest, but you've had success. But help me understand. I've asked every player this because I'm hopeful that people who watch these videos, and me actually, who's interviewing people, can improve time management. I'm an A-type personality. I'm anal retentive. Every I's got to be dotted, every T's got to be crossed. I'm a lawyer. I mean, sentences have to make sense right off the bat.
Yeah.
And in press communications, I like to try and negotiate things early, but I find that when I'm doing that now, everything gets blown away because my plans get known. I don't know the sweet spot on when to negotiate. I don't know if there is one, but tell me how you approach that.
Okay, so I think you're exactly right. I have the same preference. It never works. So negotiating early only results in your plans leaked. You're accused of all kind of things change 10 more times, and basically you lose. So the way to do it is to understand each player's preference. And you know, in this game, I failed to have main ally. And usually I like to have one ally I kind of go with. And here I could not create one. I wanted to have safe border with France, but he kept going after me. I tried to ally with Pez, he stabbed me. So it's all failures. But as far as what you're asking, you have to kind of understand who you really want to negotiate with mostly and spend most time with that person, unless you have all kind of time on vacation or whatever. I don't have unlimited time. And so for me, it was, for example, very frustrating when Tangian, for every important move, comes 15 minutes, 2 o'clock, which was 2 p.m. for me, meetings, all kind of stuff going on, and try to change things. And he said, "Oh, it's fine." Like, yeah, I hated that, but you know, that's some personal preference. So you have to work with most important players for that move, or maybe 2 players. You have to unfortunately adjust to how they do it and pretend it's all fine. Like, you know, when I had to work with Tangian at that, I pretended, hey, it's all great. Yeah, come at 1:55 when I'm in a meeting and try to change all kind of moves. You know, I had to do it. I hated this, but you have to adjust and, you know, pretend it's fine. Later on, I told him, hey, look, please don't do it. I'll be fired otherwise. So it's 2 p.m. for me. He's like, oh, but I can do it, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't appreciate this tactic when, you know, because it's sort of like, yeah, everybody can come, you know, 10 minutes to move and then change it, and then nobody leaks anything. But the fun and interaction has to come. Like, he never had any quality interaction other than like an hour before. And that's his style, at least in this game, which I understand he was very paranoid of anti-Turkey activities. And so he did this method, which is fine. Again,
with Tangian in this game, talk to me about this move. Both of you have a credible argument to make for Greece, but you get it. How you're a logical player. You've described that many times. I don't know if you remember specifically, but, you know, surely he was begging for it.
No, he actually did not ask for it. Like I immediately said, I want it. Could you support? He said, yes, sure, I will support you. I don't recall exact sort of. I think I was happy to sort of help him in Bulgaria or whatever. Like
There's
I
a
said,
fall move you can get into Bulgaria.
yeah, like I think I was committed to help him, or actually he
But
said.
you made him put the fleet in there.
Uh,
Oh no, because he needed the fleet to cover.
I need the Venice thing,
Right.
right? I had to do other things. No, here I think he told me that hold is fine. He actually, so I didn't like stop him or whatever. I think you guys discussed, oh, why didn't you support anybody? Tangian told me just hold. I just did because he told me, because he already knew it's enough for him because Romania is tapping. So he told me to hold, and I did. So it was not a stop. I did exactly what he told me to do. And surprisingly, he did not argue for Greece. So to his credit, yeah, he didn't argue for it.
Clear up the mystery for me now.
Go ahead.
As we head into 04. You see here Austria trying to help France into Venice, which ends up helping you, right? Because you get a build. Because it fails and you get a build there. But France is an enemy now. But then France becomes a friend, right? I mean, builds a fleet, and I'm thinking it's an enemy, but I can't tell if you guys are friends or enemies at this point.
Well, I think Philip tried to stay friendly, but at this time he told me he will attack me. So at this time, I think Pes keeps saying my main fatal move was to let Piedmont come, like basically move to Tuscany to allow his armies there. Well, I had to take chances because I thought for sure he'll take Venice, and I had to take a chance that, for some reason it will be beneficial for Philip to keep me alive, with some whatever negotiation. So I had to take this chance. I was like dying basically. So
I think that was the right call.
Yeah, but then here in the retrospect, if I knew that Pes would not have taken Venice, yeah, it was a terrible move to let Piedmont go through. Nah, because then he like put these fleets, and then he told me after this move, he told me, hey, I'm attacking you. I hope you appreciate my honesty. Thank you very much. Bye. That's what he told me. So I had to, oh, okay. And I put all my power to make sure Riaz stops him, because otherwise I'm dead. And, if you want an additional story real quick here, I knew that he wants both Berlin and whatever was Holland. So to go to 9. So Riaz was very mad at him that he wants 9. And I realized immediately it's true, because I wasn't sure if Riaz lying to me, whatever, because we had played preliminary game. I think it was game 20. It was Tangian, Philip, myself, and Dave in it. So in fact, that probably was the most, represented.
One.
Yeah, 4 players. And well, Philip played Austria, and when he was at 9, and I think I was at 7 as France, he said, oh my gosh, guys, I'm gonna not make it unless I'm winning here by topping. And all of us, already it was second game, just said, okay, let's draw. And then we all suddenly look, and he's way above us in ranking. So basically he lied, that pity lie about like, oh, I must win to qualify. And then he was above all of us, which means, he had a decent score. So I didn't quite get that. Maybe he took some pleasure in this, sort of small lie. That's why it resonated with me when Riaz told me he wants both. And I put all my power once I realized that sort of phenomenon on his character. Like it's like a flaw, if you will. So it worked out that Dave was able to sort of coordinate with Riaz. And unfortunately, I was hoping that Riaz will not take Baltic to Berlin, but he did. And I kind of, it's his choice, but I think it would have worked better if he didn't. But basically, that stop allowed me some breathing room.
Okay, I'll show that in a second, but I can't let this go. The fleet build in Venice, which I did not like, but
is that triple F minus here? Was it triple F minus for this one or for something else? I forgot.
I don't know. This is the first time you blew up at me, but but the fleet build. Explain your reasoning.
Well, the reasons are simple. I needed a fleet build, right? Because I want to be 3 fleet country, because I'm probably not going to build for a while. I didn't want to have 2 fleets and 3 armies. So I needed a fleet. Location, however, I debated a long time. Fleet Naples is lame, but with Fleet Venice, I can put pressure on Pes more earlier. So I can put Adriatic, I can move 1 army into Venice, and I can put pressure earlier on Pes. So it wasn't sort of like you guys said, oh, like revenge. No, it was strategic. I had to think. I believe strongly I needed 3 fleets as Italy. And I wanted some pressure earlier on Trieste. That basically decision, boom, right there.
Even, I mean, did you know Philip was going to build in Marseille a fleet?
Yeah, yes, I did. Well, I mean, I think he
You
told me.
assumed. You assumed it. It made sense.
Mm.
Okay.
But yeah, I had to sort of hold him a bit, you know. See, I bounced. Yeah, I bounced him one move, right? And then second time, yeah, he said, I'm attacking you. Sorry, but it's my best chance, blah, blah, blah. And that's the move you're now showing is what we already talked about when Riaz stabbed him because he asked for both Berlin and Holland, which was ridiculous ask, right? Like if you think about it from any standpoint, yeah, Riaz has no move anywhere. Like he's at 7, and clearly Philip gonna take Tunis sooner or later if they stay together. So I'm not sure what Philip was thinking. So he has this, like for the lack of a better word, a flaw in his thinking how to like pacify the ally. Like clearly no person in the right mind, and Riaz is one of those, will not accept France taking both Holland and Berlin in this configuration, right? Is that reasonable? I think it is.
Okay. You played a game on the knife's edge the entire game. I don't think if this stab had not happened right now, you would not have finished where you did.
That's for sure. Yeah, like I said, my main failure, I did not have a main ally. Like, so because maybe I'm talking too much, maybe I'm like not pacifying. So I'm very terrible at one thing, placating people like, oh, you're great, blah, blah, blah. I cannot do that. So it's like Russians typically cannot, like very terrible at that. It can help you get better at work, get promotions. I don't do that. And that hinders me in all ways. But I am who I am, right? And so that's here. Yes, I knew what I had to do. Fortunately, it worked out for me this way. And Philip immediately said, oh, I'm going to go back and fight Riaz. I'm like, yeah, great, do that. That's it.
And there's another positive development for you, which is now, for sure, the East is eliminating Pez, right? You're all working together. So you've eliminated all enemies on the West, and right now you have dots to go. You're helping Ewok by cutting Trieste. Unfortunately, Philip cut you. You would have taken Trieste, but I have to feel like you were feeling pretty good at this point.
Oh, I love the stub. Yeah, basically this I feel good because Philip got off me. That's the only thing I was happy about. The East, yeah, I hated Philip again. See Piedmont army, see how it already hurts me here. So it was a bad decision. Well, with Pez not taking Venice, it was bad decision. But I did not know. Pez told me that, oh, but I told you I will not go. Oh, yeah, thank you. You also told me you'll get me Greece. Did that happen? You know, like I didn't read him that he would be honest about Venice, my fault, you know. He was like, why did you do that? I told you I will not take Venice. Oh, yeah, thank you. You told also many other things which were not executed.
Well, okay, well, you're bringing up so many good issues for me. I can't help but ask you these questions.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Which is sometimes I trust a player. I'm a very trusting person, and I'll trust a player, and they won't follow through, and it hurts me. But it's not a critical hurt. But it really annoys me. And in my head, I never forget that. But sometimes I will trust again. It seems like you don't want to trust again if someone's broken it with you.
No, I don't think I want to project that. I do. In fact, I trusted Ewok. We can get to it. And people say, why did you do that? You said you're not working with him. We can talk about it. However, at that time, my trusting was not to sort of trust Pez for not taking Venice. I thought allowing Philip in Piedmont is my best option simply because it will create more options for the fall. If Pez took it, we could take it back, whatever. I can even offer it to Philip. You know, there were options there. And that's what I went after. Not that I simply decided 50-50 binary, trust Pez, not to trust Pez. I have to look at the map, what situation it will create. And at the time, I thought allowing Philip will be better for me than not allowing Philip. Overall.
Yeah, there are some times when you know the person is telling the truth because they have to do it given their position. That's their logical play. Right. We'll press ahead. Mm-hmm. I really liked this here. Clearly, though, this is a deal in the East to pull through Russia into Trieste so Russia can then have Vienna, and you'll take Trieste, right?
That was the only way to kill pests this year, and everybody get +1. I mean, I think it was a mistake for me to follow through that, simply because how it turned out. Again, given the history of RT, I just hoped at that time, since Ewok already stopped Tangian, that Tangian will not remain loyal to Ewok. Unfortunately, as you will see, he remained loyal. Here,
well, I said that on the podcast, right? I said that everyone's making a bet here that they have a closer ally than the other person.
Let me explain. So let me tell you a quick point here. Tangian actually used his tactic here to come 10 minutes before 2 o'clock update. And actually, I insisted on Aegean Smyrna. I said I will only do that if Aegean will go to Smyrna. And Ewok coordinated that. I give him big credit here for coordinating all that. Unfortunately, with 1 minute to go, Tangian said, okay, I'll go somewhere. And I did not read that he said I'll go to East Med because it was so freaking 10 seconds to go. And I had to change all my moves. And I sort of decided already, read it that he said he'll go to Smyrna, and boom, update, and he went to Eastern Med. So here he basically used this I consider cheating tactic, coming back with 1 minute to go and like pressuring me into something. I would not
you're
have
vacating Ionian, and I can understand that, right? You know.
Yeah, because I hate, because he, well, you'll see next move, he actually went to Ionian. Like he had influence on it. Like next move here, see, he bounced me here. Like you know, which I mean, that was discussed, of course, the Ionian bounce, but you know, he went back from Con to Bulgaria, so he now basically surrounded Greece again, and that's, you know, given what happened later, was my mistake to follow through that, because in this move he showed that he stayed with Ewok. By not going to Smyrna, he showed that he loves Ewok. And if I read it, at least with 30 more seconds, I would not have done it.
I mean, I think that makes total sense. Now you're in the shifting. I'm just curious. It seems like you've described a good relationship with Riaz, but on the other hand, Riaz is at 9, and you're valuable to Philip. What is the relationship like with Philip now when Philip needs you?
I mean, it was normal. I tried to go to West Med. He didn't like it, so I went to South Africa. I mean, I don't say he needs me. Like, I certainly may be nice to have as a like support to make sure. But you know, at the time, I basically wanted to see how East resolves. So all I really wanted from Philip is to stay out of my lands. And so, given that he removed Piedmont, so I give Philip some credit. When he removed how I asked, not how some other people tried to ask him to do. Again, maybe it will place to me, oh, it's either how MaxVax says or no way. I don't know, but I felt like pressure from all ends. And so I wanted one fleet gone from that location. And so Ewok tried to advocate for keeping those fleets. I said, no. And so I give credit there that they listened to me, and he removed Piedmont and a fleet. And so then he was focused on limiting Riaz. And I think we should give credit to Philip, because he made Riaz do some weird things there, which, you know, he postponed the build. He really kind of self-removed himself from the easy top and allowed this game to go back into the balance, which was great for all of us. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So I guess we should really give some credit to Philip there. I still don't know what he did to convince Riaz to postpone the Liverpool build.
Yeah, well, you can go watch the interviews. They have two different sides to that story, but it was good to get both perspectives. All right, so look, if you know now that Tangian is not with you, you only have one other person to go and lobby, and that's Ewok. And what can you offer Ewok, and like, how do you try and move forward here?
I mean, I offered all I could. You know, I offered Wintergreen Alliance. I just did not see that reciprocated in any way, because I suspected at the time it will be RT. So in fact, at the time, I was also thinking to try to go IT, because Ewok at the time showed me that he's not interested. And so basically, I had to decide, and my decision here, as you can see by move Venice to Tyrolia, that I wanted IT. Because Ewok basically, so I assumed Ewok will stay with Tangian. And so based on a lot of message, long story short, Ewok, I think Audacious Hand really had really good characteristics about Ewok. He cares about no one, just himself. So he has like no allies, which I don't appreciate, which I maybe almost played a game like Ewok this time, but it was circumstance driven. But he never sort of places allies' interest, at least somewhere close to his. It's always Ewok, so high you don't see an interest of somebody else's at the bottom. And that cannot be well. And so at that time, I already realized that my hope is Tanjian, not Ewok.
So here is I want to talk about this move because you may not have seen Ewok's interview. He wasn't going to work with you. But he did say it was very off-putting to him that you basically made him sign a contract. I state your name, promise, I will support Trieste to Serbia, blah blah blah, and then you blew up on Discord when this happened. Which, hey, look, I've blown up everywhere. Talk to me about the pre-negotiations and the aftermath of this move.
Okay, so I will try to be brief. At this time, I was with Ewok at the point of no return. I played with him in a one game preliminary. He's very tough player, very tough to negotiate because, if typical player will try to do 60-40 with ally, he does 95-5. And it's just like never works. It's like you can't possibly work with him normally, and hopefully Tanjian learned it now, although maybe it's too late. Point being is I was at the point of no return. And yes, sometimes I use this easy tactic to throw, hey, are you going to swear? That you swear in your life, your honor? And he's like, sure. Like, I wouldn't say I made him. I say, hey, would you do that? He immediately jumped. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. He immediately replied to me, changed his put. So I ever listened to his interview. If he said something else, he's lying. I suggested.
He said he agreed. He said he agreed.
Oh, he immediately jumped on it. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Oh.
He didn't say that, but he said he agreed.
Oh, I can show print screen. But basically, I was like, okay, at this time, I had to decide if he's lying or not. So in my experience, I used it like one or two more times, like in the high-level games. And both times, people followed through. So it was my bias that, he wouldn't throw his life. And I read other people saying, oh, you can say whatever you want. I disagree completely. Swearing on your life and not executing, this is ridiculous. Because how far would you go? You can say you'll kill your own mother and still violate?
Ewok would say that.
No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I know it's a game. I never made him do anything. I just was at the point of no return. I would not have worked with him. So he did this. That's why I'm saying I would probably not play with him. And that's why I blew out. Yeah, because he violated. Yeah, I don't appreciate this type of play. I don't agree with that. And, also I hope that Tanjian will see that, it's basically was not cool from Ewok. And he sort of said that. And I hope that it created some rift between them. Unfortunately, not big enough rift, but, at that time, yeah, I was basically sure Tanjian can win.
My thought about Tanjian is he seems like an extraordinarily nice guy with a mind that is very firm. He doesn't seem to vacillate. He's going to stick with what he wants to do.
He's definitely very nice. Like, I mean, I may disagree with his decisions, but, okay, we can talk. I think he had a win in his pocket and at some level of this game, and he somehow blew it away. Again, I respect every player. And I think we all, tried our best. It was very evenly matched game. And, including Pez, we all deserved whatever better result than we got. But point being here is he stayed too long with Ewok. In the end, he should not have allowed Ewok to win because there were other deserving candidates, and mainly Riaz could have won it if he tapped Berlin, which I still would never understand. Because he told me his priority is for Ewok not to win, and yet he did nothing in Munich. So held. I don't sort of appreciate that decision because I would have preferred non-Ewok winner, not me, not MaxVax, but Riaz wins then, whatever, that's fine. But like, why did he do nothing when he held in Munich and allowed? Anyway, Sorry, long story short.
Times are
What's your
dark
question?
here. You've got to make 2 disbands due to losing Greece and Trieste. I have to admit, I mean, with a fleet build in Marseille, this doesn't look like you're going to make it to the end, to be
Sure.
honest with you.
Yep.
But, it kind of just gets worse, right? You lose the Ionian, but except for the stab of Ewok now. This is good.
Yeah, I think I kept pushing for it. I'm glad he did it here. If he'd done it later, I would have been dead. So he done it a bit too early again in terms of what he planned to do. See, he had some idea that 7 is enough. He'll beat tiebreaker. So he wanted to just do like 1 center stab and be happy. It sort of worked something for me. So if you go next, you'll see that it allowed me to do this return move here. And I made them bounce. I said, okay, guys, you bounce in Tyranian. I'm not going to go there. Don't let each other there. And they agreed and bounced. Philip flipped out because he said, you're throwing the game to Tangian. Don't do that. He like wrote so many long messages to me. I don't know
But
if
he
was
wanted to be in Tyranian?
No, he didn't want to be in Tyranian, but he told me that I'm throwing to Tangian. He said, don't do that because go ahead, cover Naples and Tunis. Please do that. Like wrote long messages from like bars or whatever, where he was. I'm not sure. Like, okay, I did not throw. Like, I don't believe the word throw even applicable to diplomacy game. You try your best. Your idea is to win. If not win, to draw. If not draw, to survive. So you do what you can. And here, I was pretty sure that Tangian will not use Ionian to grab Tunis or Naples. So I could have proceeded with, what we talked about. Tangian wanted me to use Tyranian to bounce Leonian, to force Leonian, right? So basically to have fleet in Vesmet and Leon. But I said, well, if you help me get 3 I can do that, because what I did not want to happen is that his Ionian fleet would be in Tyranian and I will have nothing to cover Naples.
So you asked him to move to Adriatic or Albania?
No, I did not ask him to do that. I don't remember if I did, but he didn't want to. So my point was, help me get Trieste so that I can put a new build which can cover Naples. And yeah, you can feel his idea was to pressure fleets there. So he didn't want Albania, Adriatic. He wants to move fleets west. So he wants me to move Tyranian to Lyon and he backfills. I said, that's fine, only if I put a new build, because I don't want the situation where Tyranian can take Naples anytime. I have no blockade. So I'm not like throwing games here. So I don't want that. And he somehow was sure that I think it's a great idea. No, it was a terrible idea. And look at this support holds, and he didn't even help me. Like, I get it, help Serbia, but it fails because Ewok topped. That was enough for me. All I was asking is support me to Trieste. Try to support. He did not commit to that. So I'm like, okay, I said, screw that.
What about this bizarre move by Germany? Obviously, it didn't affect anything, but now you're seeing Germany do this.
Well, no, he told me he would move. So in fact, Dave I actually admire how he stayed in the game. Everybody was against him, almost like I can feel his pain because I was on the East, the same, like under same pressure, almost, right? So the idea here was, he told me, I think, again, this game had a lot of drama. And I think people failed to understand the degree of how people mad at each other. Everybody overestimated. Even everybody thought I would never work with Ewok, but we found some ground later. Everybody thought basically Philip and Dave will never work together, but they tried. Here, I think I underestimated how mad he was at Ewok, being that Ewok never helped, right? 5 years, like before, Ewok never helped him against Rias, no matter what he tried to ask him for. And
compare it to season 4, the drama. You had Captain Meme, who I think at one point you stabbed, and then he came back, but it seemed like you always were working together. You could work together if you could. Compare that season 4 drama to season 6.
I think season 4 had one alliance, which was main, which was PES with Babo, which is Germany, France. And everybody played off that. So here you can compare it with EF, but it was broken early. Once it was broken, its sort of similarities ended. And, I appreciate it. For example, Meme, he had flexibility. And I always appreciate people with flexibility. I feel like I myself have flexibility as well. That's why we were able to find common ground there. And in fact, he tried to stab at the end, he sort of denied me a win, but I still appreciate what he did. And, we still talked respectfully all this game. It's nothing, never was point of no return for any of us. And so here, Ewok contrasts with that not in a winning way. So if I have to put who is a better player, it will be Captain Meme for sure, not the Ewok. So that's kind of how I operate. So here, in particular for Dave, somehow he found common ground with Ewok. So Ewok was able to, placate him somehow, that he did what Ewok asked him to do, and mainly tap Tyrolia, so that, to make sure I cannot take any centers from Ewok, even with Turkey help. And so I knew, and I also knew that there will be no support for that move, which felt like Ewok kept spinning. But look, I didn't support. See, I'm not against you. Let's work together. Blah blah. See, I didn't support. I'm like, like he's using even any tiny excuse to sort of clarify that he's not against. Like if anything somehow accidentally worked, that it could be interpreted that he is good guy, he will use it, which is fine. But it can only go that far, right? Your reputation already sort of destroyed. You can say that you didn't support. Okay, great. But I didn't feel any extra love for Ewok because he didn't support Munich to Tyrolia. Anyway.
But because of that stab, you're able to work with him again, or at least, if not, well, I mean, you are working with him, but I mean, you have an alliance of necessity.
One,
with Russia now, because Ewok stabbed Russia, so now you're taking Trieste.
Yeah, well, here I think. So at this time, when I'm okay, let me back a little bit. So when I moved to the Tunis and Naples, right? Tangian did not love it, but I did tell him, although he doesn't like that I told him 5 minutes to go, to show how terrible idea that is. So I tried to kind of show him, don't do that. And I did that with 5 minutes to go. So he didn't like it, but he understood me, he said. Then I said, okay, can you bounce here in Tyrrhenian, and can I take Ionian Sea? Are you going to be mad at me? Tell me, please. Okay, let's discuss it. He said, okay, fine. Yes, I'll be fine. Okay, can you not retreat to Adriatic? He's like, yeah, sure. Then he retreats to Adriatic. Well, he said, oh, it's against Ewok. Okay, what Ewok? I already took Trieste. It would have been a different story if I didn't take Trieste. But yeah, we agreed that I'll take it from Tyrolia. So Ewok and I discussed it. And so he retreated to Albania. That was discussed. What was not discussed is retreat to Adriatic. I asked him 10 times, are you okay? Because I did not want to force Ionian if Tangian is mad at me.
You're okay? I mean, you discussed it before you dislodged it.
Yes, before, of course. I discussed, hey, can you bounce in Tyrrhenian and I will force you out? Are you okay with that? Because, yeah, I need some chances here. Like, yeah, I'm not playing like to only let you win, but I feel like it creates chances for both of us. Because, yeah, Adriatic is against me, right? So like, what can I do? I need to now force a disband. So the only reason I worked with Ewok is to force that freaking Adriatic disband, because I hated that retreat. So I had to make sure it's gone, because it's already in end of 08. I can't have the fleet there because it's like limits all my chances, right? Like if I am to win or even have 2% chance to win, I must have Adriatic disbanded. That was my logic. Again, maybe it's wrong, but that's how I saw it.
Which is why you're creeping up to Apulia. But I mean, I think the big issue in 08. So you're saying, am I hearing you correctly, that the reason you helped Russia into Serbia was because you needed to force a Turkish disband, and that yes. Turkish disband needed to
yes.
be Adriatic?
Yes, and I had no idea Tangian will be so ridiculous that to not support whole Romania with Bulgaria. Like I had no idea. Ewok played masterpiece here. Well, of course he knew Tangian better.
So you thought you're putting him up one, but you didn't think you're putting him up two.
Yes, of course. I meant to put him -1, and I told him support Bulgaria. But of course he didn't do it or whatever. I mean, anyway, he then blamed me that, oh, apparently, why did I say I would never work with Ewok? Well, we all play to win. All I wanted to do is Turkey -1, so he removes that weird Adriatic fleet he put. That was my goal, and that's what I was doing. The manner I found it's achievable, the only way I found is to work with Ewok. Yes, I did not like it, but I did it. What was bad surprise is that Romania was also forced. So basically Ewok went to 7, and I was like, oh. But it by no means it was guaranteeing the Ewok a win. So I'm like, okay, whatever, we'll work with that. So that's where I was at that time.
All right, so I understand. You actually believed even by doing that it would just be 566.
Uh, five, yeah, me 566, correct. Yeah, exactly. Or is it,
As
wait,
opposed to, yeah, no, this is the, well, that's the number here. You can see the number now being that,
566?
but it would have been 5 6 or yeah,
Yes,
566.
yes, exactly,
But
exactly.
now with only 2 years left and it's two ahead, I didn't see any path. Okay, but you are not me. You saw a path. How were what was your goal and how are you going to achieve it?
So, well, my main goal, my hope was that Ewok and Tangian are so far apart that they would prefer non-reciprocal winner. So basically, Ewok would hate Tangian to win and vice versa. I hoped I have achieved that by all this blah, 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 whatever happens this game. Unfortunately, I was wrong, but that was my goal. Tangian, unfortunately, was super mad at me here. It's like, oh my God, what did you do? It's like, what did I do? Where did Bulgaria go? Like, what the hell was Bulgaria doing? Like, man, like, don't put blame. Like, I'll take the blame where it's due. But here I was like, oh my God, Bulgaria didn't support Romania. Like, and now it's fault of Italy. Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, again, I'm logical here. So I wanted Adriatic gun. That gives me chances. And I wanted Greece. I wanted to have Greece for 6, and then in 1910, so I basically thought it's 7. And again, one hope was if Tangian hates Ewok, he can donate me a center. But if not, then we can figure it out. So 6 for Greece. I was looking at Greece to be 6, and then I was looking for Serbia or Marseille, but it really didn't consider Marseille to be a chance. It became 1, but I never considered it to be 1.
So Ewok told me that given everything that had happened before with you, that he said he would give you Greece in '09 as for you getting him into Serbia in '08. And he also felt that you would never get to 7 and that he would keep 7, but at least you would feel like you had a fighting chance. Was it a struggle to get him to support you into Greece in the fall of '09?
No, I think I thought he would do that. I thought he would do that. Like I feel like I get a pretty decent read on Ewok. In fact, what he asked me, go back one. Here it is. Okay, let me explain this move. Here he suggested a deal, alliance until fall '09, which included, oh, nobody taps each other's center, no attacks, and look at Vienna move, just like look at it. I was like, yeah, I accepted it. Sure, great, let's do it. Oh, he said, oh, that was needed, but that was last move he did. But really, all next move will be for sure pro MaxVax. Yeah,
And
all
it didn't
next
matter.
moves.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter, but do you
No,
understand?
but I'm sure he would say that.
Yeah, he said it. Do you understand his character though, right? He will put any excuse. Oh, it didn't matter. It could have mattered if I put Trieste to Albania and I wanted to follow with Venice to Trieste. It would have been very terrible. I had considerations to do that. It was an option for me, right? And if I did this, I would have hated Vienna to Trieste. Because I knew Ewok enough, I suspected he will do that, so I decided against moving.
Right. Well, he didn't want you to have a play on Serbia or something, right? I mean, that was why.
I get it. That's why. But again, I'm trying to tell you, he suggested that truce, which included no attacks on each other's centers, and immediately look at Vienna move. I'm just explaining what kind of player he is and why I don't appreciate his style. Okay? Even now, he feels that he can lie, this cheap lies, whatever. He suggested this alliance until the end of '09. That was his sort of title. Again, I'm happy to share screens. I don't know, he probably didn't mention it, but I find it, dishonorable to say the least. Okay? That's all.
So here is your move, which, I mean, ultimately you didn't need a support, but you took it. Did you ever see Hand's prediction that you should do it via convoy?
Yeah, via convoy meaning, oh, you mean, well,
It would have made Trieste vulnerable, right? So, I mean, maybe.
yes, and I needed all 3 to protect it in the last year, and I wouldn't have had the 3 units then.
So, yeah,
So,
I didn't have a problem with it, but I thought it was.
well, let me explain something real quick here. If you go back, Tangian, like go back, spring move '09. So this is fall. So here, Tangian here what's going on, okay? I tried to mitigate with Tangian for him being mad that apparently he thought it's all my fault that he was -2. So I said, okay, what do you want? He said, okay, do not tap Greece. Okay, let me take from Greece, Serbia, whatever. I'm like, okay, sure, I will not tap Greece now, but let me tell you, I will tap it in the fall. So whatever you do, do it now, okay? He's like, okay. And see what he did? He did not even go, okay, we can argue, but using Greece for support obviously would have worked, right? No argument here. Using like Bulgaria moved to Greece, I'm sorry, Bulgaria, Serbia with support from Greece, what we have discussed he should do, he did not do again. I'm like, kill me, somebody. Oh my God, Tangian, what are you playing here? So he destroyed himself, his chance. Here, do you see how easy it would have been to not let Ewok at 7, right? Like I said, okay, I'm not touching Greece, go. Because I could not touch it in the fall. I need the 6th center. I'm not going to stay at 5 before 1910. I'm not like an idiot to just donate Uevin. So I told him all that.
You put him at 6, you're at 6.
Yeah, go like 666, right? So if you go now, Bulgaria to Serbia with support from Greece and feel IOG in Bulgaria, do whatever you want. You can bounce there, black Bulgaria, like there were options, okay? Do that, make Ewok at 6, right? That's what any logical and but strong player should have done here. It's Bulgaria to Greece with all he knew, okay? Like if you don't know what's going on, sure, that move is fine. But we discussed it and he told me he will go he went back and forth 100 times and he did tell me with 2 minutes to go that, oh my gosh, he'll go like this, like he went. So he didn't lie. But I said, okay, go like you promised. Go Bulgaria to Serbia with support from Greece because it will work.
Can't not work if you know Budapest is going to remain.
Well, but it was high chance. It was a high chance. And again, it would have worked, right? Like just given this map right here.
Yeah, it would have worked.
Yeah. And he didn't do it. He told me, but I didn't want to end up because you would have asked for Greece. Of course I would have asked for Greece, but he would have had Serbia, so we both would have chances then. We both would remain with some chances to win. Yes, I would.
Instead, he's going to lose Serbia and Greece.
Well, Serbia was lost already.
Oh,
right?
no, but he would, theoretically, I mean,
Yeah, that's what he told me in the fall. Oh, don't touch Greece now. Okay, sorry, we moved too late, man. Like I don't get it. What he was mad at me again that I took Greece. I'm like, oh my God, well, what do you want me to do? I'm not here to let you win right here, right? Like you had to use your chance when you had it. Like I totally get it that his worry was that I will ask for Greece, but so what? We would have denied Ewok from 7 to 6. That was important, and he didn't take that chance. So what can I do? Nothing.
So now, I mean, it's very evident you can't take. It's too late for. Sorry, you can't take Serbia. You have to make a run at Marseille.
Yeah, at this time, unfortunately, I already knew that Tangian told me that he doesn't like me. Most and foremost, he doesn't like me. He told me that. Because of this Adriatic, I did not do whatever he wanted, forced, because I did not let him keep Greece in the fall. So again, I had to do it because that's the only way to have chances. And once I saw that, potentially Marseille could be an option, well, I had to go for it. But it didn't work out, but it's all I had here, right? I'm disappointed in Tangian's decision and ultimately to crown Ewok. I feel like it's borderline metagaming. He dragged him in the final and he crowned him. I do not appreciate it. Totally get it. It's all fair. Nothing was violated. I personally did not appreciate it. And that's it.
You could have made a move. I guess you don't know what Russia's going to do. You can't really take a move at Munich and move that.
I could have tried. No, I knew he probably won't go spring for Trieste. I could have put Tyrolia to Munich in the spring. But I put all my effort into asking Philip and Dave to support me to Marseille. And none of them wanted to do that. Philip
let's talk about this, right? Because if you were into Marseille, you win.
Yeah.
Or if Munich taps Berlin, Riaz would win over you even if you were in Marseille. But neither of those events happened. Or if Philip had supported Denmark into Kiel. Any number of things could have happened. Philip controlled the outcome. Tangian controlled the outcome, and Dave controlled the outcome.
No, I think you're right first time. Philip controlled the outcome, and he basically preferred Ewok to win, which is, it worked for Ewok fine because basically he didn't have to lie too much to France as Russia, so it worked well for him. He destroyed relations with Turkey and Italy and England, of course, but he did not destroy relations with France, and France was in a position to crown. And of course, for me, not supporting him to be in Spain South Coast and Riyadh stabbing him, he preferred Ewok, of course, over two of us. So that worked.
Dave
well
could have supported you in. I mean, Dave had no beef with you. What was the thinking there?
He was neutral. He told me he's like he was, well, plus it's his center. He's like sort of fighter to the very end. 1 versus 2 centers is very important for him. Like, even what I mean. So he basically supporting means he will be -1, right? Because it's his center, Marcel. So he said he will be basically neutral. He thinks he respects everybody, but I'll be neutral. So I put most effort at Philip and basically failed.
Now, you've said multiple times here you don't understand why Tanjian did not tap Berlin, which would have given Riaz the win. Tanjian says he just listened to Dave, and he did what Dave wanted. Dave told him not to tap Berlin.
Yeah, because Dave hated Riaz to win, right? Again, because Dave suffered from Riaz a lot. Yeah, I heard that story, and that's fine. Like I said, I totally get it. I just saw Tanjian has his own brains, not Dave's brains. And I saw Tanjian said he hates Ewok to win because he basically used him like, you can feel the word yourself, like who, but somehow he decided to use somebody else's brains for decision instead of his own.
I've said many times, if I was Tanjian, there's a 0% chance I don't tap Berlin.
Yeah, or at least tap
having having that happen to me in this game, starting with the move to Ankara.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how Tanj could forgive him, but he did.
Well, yeah, and combined with the fact he literally is the reason Ewok even made the final, I find it disrespectful to all other players. That's the minimum I can say. Again, I will say many nice things.
Except for Ewok.
I respect all players, but I don't understand these decisions Tanjian made. If he explains them in an interview, I can listen, but I don't think he explained them. I've heard already some parts from
He just said it was Dave's. He said he would have done whatever Dave wanted. That's all he said.
That's fine. Again, it's a game. I just want to, make sure everybody understands. I am, totally fine. It was fun game. I was one move away from the win. I'm happy with how I played. I feel like I did not do terrible, and that's the borderline. I don't understand Tanjian in this season at all, simply because he basically decided to drag Ewok to the final, which I don't appreciate. Again, distinction like that. When you help someone, right? And I think you did, for example, help Pez, right? In one of the other games, but it's not like you knew that, Pez will owe you big time for the final because you were out. So
it was a survival play for me. He was going to eliminate me.
Play. Maybe cool discussions with Pez. Pez is an interesting fellow, having fun. So that is one thing. The opposite is when you strategically think, I will drag Ewok so that he will help me in the final. He even wrote to me that was his expectation. I'm like, okay. So of course Ewok didn't feel any obligation. See Audacious Hand's opinion about Ewok's style. I agree 100%.
Okay. I think one more question and then 2 more questions. The first question is this. Just because it's my only experience, I talk about season 2 all the time, and Ewok was there, and so was Humble. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody needed a mental break from diplomacy. Even Ewok, he'll admit to you after that game, is how taxing it was. And a lot of people have told me after this game that they are taking a break from diplomacy for a while. Ewok says he doesn't think he's going to play for a long while online, and someone else said they don't think they were going to play again, and I forget who that was. Are you coming back?
I will definitely take some break. I don't know yet what the length of that break will be. I always feel immediately after the game, I felt it will be long, like in years. And I have done this. Like I've played diplomacy for over 10 years, and there were like at least two 2-year breaks for me. I think sometimes we forget that it's taken a lot of time. Like I mentioned here about 2 p.m. deadline and how we negotiate. And yes, we have all of us have flexible jobs that we don't do something which doesn't allow you. Like all of us control our each their own schedule basically, right? So you can do that during work days and stuff, but it's still a huge toll on the family. Like kids. Most of us have kids, whatever. So basically uh, my wife told me to take a break and I agreed. And that's what I will honor. How long it will be, I don't know yet. Now I feel a little bit more sort of calm. Like I was, to be honest, I was upset. Especially I was upset with Ewok. So I think he's a great guy. It's just I did not like his style. Like, I think Audacious Hand exactly correct. He cares about only himself, and it's not the way to do it in diplomacy. That's not the way to do it. Sorry, but if somebody thinks otherwise, they are kidding themselves. You
Okay.
have to have good relations. So I will
Is
take a
there
break. Not
anything
sure how
else
long.
you is there anything else you want to say that you've not had the opportunity to or would like to say before we
I
end?
think it was too long here. I just appreciate it. No, I mean, I am sort of chatty. I wanted to, if it's useful for someone, I said some things. Again, I thank everybody in this final. It was really intense, really time consuming. I think it was interesting final. And I wish everybody would return and wish them luck, in face to face or any other tournaments. And I hope to see some players at some point. And hopefully only a few players will take breaks. I know you said many. I know Rias will be actually, directing the next season, and that's good. I think he can do a good job. I also do hope that many would return, at least if not season 7, then season 8. And I want to play at some point with you in a final. That we should do at some point.
I'm gonna try. Something happened in my brain with face to face going back to press. It's very hard for me to play well both styles. But I'm trying to dedicate myself to a better online presence because I think it'll be easier on my schedule. So I'm hopeful I can do that. So hopefully we get to play.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much for a very candid interview from you, Sergey. Thanks for your dedication to the Nexus tournament and making 2 finals and coming here and giving your thoughts honestly. I think everyone will agree it was a great interview. And look forward to seeing you on the board sometime.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate all you're doing. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.